Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here today. Yes, that is my trophy saddle in the background. Let me see if you can see it a little bit better. That is our trophy saddle that we won from all the stuff and competition last year, and I am so proud of my horse that won that for me because she just did so phenomenal last year, and she did it all on her own. Got all the points on her own because my other horse wasn't running. So this saddle here is very special to me for that reason, and something I'm going to cherish for a long time. So enjoy your accomplishments and then let them fuel you to go on to do even bigger and better things. I want to talk a little bit today about mindfulness, and I know I've mentioned on here before, not to sound like a broken record, but this book I highly recommend for anyone who doesn't really understand mindfulness or hasn't experienced it or practiced it. This is a very good entry-level book. Now I've read, like I've said on here before, I'm not an expert in this stuff. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or any of the above. What I talk about on here is stuff that I have found that has worked for me over the years, and stuff that I have pulled from books that I have read, and things like that. And this book was one of my first and one of my favorites still. So I want to start by reading the first little blurb out of this book, because I think a lot of people don't really know what mindfulness means or is. First chapter of the book. Can you remember the last time you lay in bed wrestling with your thoughts? You desperately wanted your mind to become calm, to just be quiet, so that you could get some sleep. But whatever you tried seems to fail. Every time you forced yourself not to think, your thoughts exploded into life with renewed strength. You told yourself not to worry, but suddenly discovered countless new things to worry about. Does this sound familiar to anyone out there? You tried fluffing up the pillow, rolling over to get more comfortable, but soon enough you began thinking again. As the night ground even onward, your strength progressively drained away, leaving you feeling fragile and broken. I know I've been here before, and it's the worst feeling in the world when you're trying to fall asleep and you know that your alarm clock's gonna be going off at whatever time, and it's just such a stressful experience. So by the time the alarm went off, you were exhausted, bad-tempered, and thoroughly miserable. Throughout the next day, you had the opposite problem. You wanted to be wide awake, but you could hardly stop yawning. You stumbled into work, but you weren't really present. You couldn't concentrate, your eyes were red and puffy, your whole body ached, and your mind felt empty. You'd stare at a pile of papers on your desk for ages, hoping something, anything would turn up so that you could gather enough momentum to do the day's work. In the meetings, you could barely keep your eyes open, let alone contribute anything intelligent. It seemed as though your life had begun to slip through your fingers, and you felt even more anxious, stressed, and exhausted. This book is about how you can find peace and contentment in such troubled and frantic times. Or rather, this book is about how you can rediscover those things. For there are deep well springs of peace and contentment living inside all of us, no matter how trapped and distraught we might feel. They're just waiting to be liberated from the cage that our frantic and relentless way of life has crafted for them. So I'm gonna stop reading there, but I know every single one of us out there can relate to the first couple of chapters of this, or the first couple paragraphs, of this book. And I know we've all experienced the opposite of being mindful and the feeling of stress and anxiety and all that comes with it. So I'm gonna skip a couple of pages, still first chapter, but still the intro stuff, but a couple pages later. So what is mindfulness, right? So mindfulness is about observation without criticism, being compassionate with yourself. The world is all abuzz nowadays about mindfulness. This is a wonderful thing because it is something that we are sorely lacking, if not starving for, some elusive but necessary element in our lives. We might even have a strong intuition on occasion that what is really missing in some profound way is us, our willingness or ability to show up fully in our lives and live them as if we really mattered, in the only moment that we ever get, which is this one, and that we are worthy of inhabiting life in this way and capable of it. This is a very brave intuition or insight, and it matters enormously. It could be world transforming. It is certainly profoundly nurturing and life transforming for those who undertake it. And that is the whole premise of mindfulness, right? And it's hard to explain the experience of it. It's something that you have to practice at and you have to experience yourself to really get it or understand it. But learning to live in the moment, learning to be present in the moment, even if we aren't successfully doing it every single moment of every single day, which, you know, is probably not ever going to be achievable. But if we can practice being mindful at certain parts of the day, if we can meditate or find another means to practice being mindful, then it changes the way our brain works. And it allows us to become more mindful throughout our lives. And we can change and adapt and make better the way we respond to the world around us. Skipping over to the benefits of mindfulness, and they talk about it in much more detail later in the book, and in other books I've read they talk about it in a lot more detail, but just like in a nutshell, you know, they talk about numerous psychological studies have shown that regular meditators are happier and more content than average. These are not just important results in themselves, but have huge medical significance, such as positive emotions, and are linked to healthier lives. Anxiety, depression, and irritability all decrease with regular sessions of meditation. Memory improves, reaction times become faster, and mental and physical stamina increase. Regular meditators enjoy better and more fulfilling relationships. Studies worldwide have found that meditation reduces the key indicators of chronic stress, including high blood pressure. Meditation has also been found to be effective in reducing the impact of serious conditions such as chronic pain, cancer, and can even help with things like drug and alcohol dependence. Studies have now shown even that meditation bolsters the immune system, which could help fight off things like colds, flus, and other diseases. And this is very kind of like plain Jane, but I have read other books that go into this even more, and they have done studies using things like MRIs to look at our brains, and the brain physically changes when they look at brains of people who meditate regularly versus brains of people who don't. So this is powerful stuff, and it definitely changed my life a whole bunch when I got into it, and that's why I'm really passionate about doing these videos, because again, I'm not an expert, but I want to share my experiences, and hopefully maybe they will help somebody out there. We only have one life. Like, we only get to do this once. Like, you only get a certain amount of days in a year, and you only get a certain amount of years, and the moments matter. So you have to be living every moment to the best of your ability, and you got to make them count. So if you don't know a lot about mindfulness, I really encourage you to get this book and read it, because it will tell you and explain things much better than I can. And like I said, it's a good little starter book if you're just getting into it. So all of that being said, I wanted to talk about Mother Nature and how I feel like, anyway, again, I'm not an expert, I can only speak to my experiences and what I have found. But if you are struggling to get into meditation and the practice of mindfulness day in and day out, if you're struggling to do that, or you're having a hard time getting started, I want you to just consider the fact that we can use the world around us to help us find moments to be mindful in our day. And for me, nature really gives me that experience. I don't know the details of why it works like that, but I feel like when I'm out in nature, outside, out just experiencing the world around me without trying to change it or worry about the past or the future, just being in it and accepting it and enjoying it for what it is, that is a very mindful headspace for me. So sometimes if I'm struggling to do meditations, or if I'm struggling to kind of get there on my own accord in that headspace, I will use nature to help me and to promote those things for me. Taking a nice walk through the park and just really soaking in the like beautiful surroundings around you, not trying to change anything, not worrying about anything, not thinking about the past or the future, just be there, be in that moment, and just observe the world around you, and really just be present in that moment, in that space. Or if it doesn't have to be in a park, it can be anywhere, a beach, you know, anywhere that you can just be present in the moment and feel like you're like one with the earth, if that makes sense. That is a good way to work on being mindful, even if you haven't really mastered or understanding how to like practice mindfulness meditation. Another great way to make it easier is to sit outside and listen to the sounds of nature. Like close your eyes and really just focus on listening to all the sounds around you, whether it be birds chirping or whether it be a stream in the background. If you can close your eyes and just focus so intently on what you are hearing. Again, we're not worrying about trying to change anything. We're not worrying about the future, the past, what we did yesterday, what we have to do tomorrow. The whole point is you have to be 100% present in that moment. And I find sometimes when I'm struggling to get there on my own with meditation and mindfulness practices, if I do that exercise, if I close my eyes and I just focus 100% of my energy on the sounds around me, again, whether it be the birds chirping or the wind blowing the trees or a stream in the background or whatever, focus 100% of your energy and attention on those sounds and just observe them. And that will get you closer to that mindfulness headspace where you are living 100% connected to the present moment. So the reason I'm talking about all this today is because I am going to create a new playlist on this YouTube channel, and it is going to be all videos of, I don't really know what to call it, but all videos of the sounds of Mother Nature, the sights of Mother Nature. I don't really know, like, I have to think of a clever name, but that's what it's going to be. So I've taken video of me riding the horses. You can hear the hoof beats. I've taken videos of lake water hitting the coast. I've taken videos of streams, things like that, birds, crickets, all that stuff. And I want to put them on that playlist because I know not everybody has maybe access to parts of nature that maybe I'm fortunate enough to have access to. So when I come across those things and I feel like it would be a good way to share that with people who watch this channel, I want to make it a point now to start videoing those things and putting them up for you guys. So if you are somewhere and you don't have the luxury of being out in Mother Nature in real life, at least maybe you can watch and listen to these videos and get a little taste of it, which hopefully is better than nothing. So keep a lookout for that. Again, on this channel, it's just going to be another playlist. So you will hopefully be able to see them, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already so we can see you back again. All right, we'll talk soon. Bye.